Hi, my name is Kaelee. I go to the Miami Valley School, and I'm currently in a class called Fromm, which is basically an introduction into psychology and the study of relationships that you have with others and with yourself. And we study the teachings of Erich Fromm, and we actually have a few books that he has written, and we study directly from those. And today I'm going to be talking about security and insecurity that many people have. And I'm actually going to be reading some from Fromm's book, To Have or To Be. So I'm going to start with reading a passage from that titled Further Aspects of Having and Being, and then Security and Insecurity. Okay. Not to move forward, to stay where we are, to regress, in other words, to rely on what we have, is very tempting. For what we have, we know. We can hold on to it, feel secure in it. We fear and consequently avoid taking a step into the unknown, the uncertain. For indeed, while the step may not appear risky to us after we have taken it, before we take that step, the new aspect beyond it appears very risky and hence frightening. Only the old, the tried is safe, or so it seems. Every new step contains the danger of failure, and that is one of the reasons people are so afraid of freedom. So, basically, what Fromm is saying here is that people are really scared to try new things simply because they're afraid of the outcome. And I was thinking about it, and it's not like that's just something we kind of like do on our own. It's kind of the society we live in teaches us that to some degree, because if you think about it, like little kids do things, and if they're potentially dangerous, their parents tell them to stop, in fear of them, of getting hurt or kidnapped or whatever, because parents are just, concerned for their child's safety. So it makes sense, but at the same time that, saying no, it's almost like saying don't really do anything dangerous or that's like something I got out of it. It's not in every case, I suppose. But if you think about it, that's probably where a lot of it is rooted from, just like fear of safety, and you want to stay safe, and you don't necessarily want to die, so you avoid things that can potentially be risky. But the thing is a lot of it goes beyond that too. It goes towards standing up for yourself or other people, and like saying things that you probably wouldn't normally say. Like all of that becomes almost dangerous, because every time you do something outside of the normal thing that you do, there's a lot at risk, potentially your job or relationships you have with others. Fromm goes on to talk about in this section just that your whole life is kind of sheltered with your parents. It basically says what I just elaborated on, and then it goes on and says, yet in spite of the security of having, people admire those with a vision of the new, those who break a new path, who have the courage to move forward. And then he goes on to talk about, those people are considered heroes. Like, if you think about mythology, or, religious stories, the heroes, or, in, like, movies, like Disney movies, like, the hero is someone who goes against what everyone else is saying, to do what they believe in, and do something kind of like unknown to everyone else, but for the most part it turns out to go pretty well. But it's funny because those are the people we look up to, yet a lot of us would never think about or consider doing the things to make us a hero, like yourself a hero, just because of that fear. And I think what Fromm's trying to say is that if you really want to make a difference, you need to try to get rid of that fear and become more not necessarily unlike everyone else, but kind of like make a new way for yourself, and have new visions, and don't really try to just be a follower. I guess it's kind of saying to be a hero and to break out of this fear of risk. You kind of just need to believe in yourself to the point where you feel like you can successfully make a decision that will make a difference in a good way. another section from this book says, we admire these heroes because we deeply feel their way is the way we would want to be if we could. But being afraid, we believe that we cannot be that way, that only the heroes can. The heroes become idols, we transfer them to our own capacity to move, and then stay where we are, because we are not heroes. And something we talk about a lot in class is Mr. Squires always says he gets really annoyed when people say, oh, you're only human. Because if someone tells you, like, you're only human, it's like, well, yeah, that's what you are. Like, what are you expecting me to be? Like, what else can you be besides human? Like, nobody's perfect, so it doesn't really make sense when people say that. So I related that passage to that, what Mr. Squires always talks about, and it's just kind of saying, like, you know, because you're not willing to make these changes and kind of like take risks, that, you know, you can never really be like these heroes, and, you know, that's okay because you're not one of them. So, like, you're not expected to do these things that they do. And I was just thinking about that a lot, and just how a lot of us are held up to really high expectations, especially, you know, with school, you know, moving on to college, and you're expected to get a big job, and I don't know, everyone has different expectations, but, like, you know, you hold some for yourself, and the thing is like, getting there is going to be risky, and or it should be, and if you're not willing to take the risk and make yourself vulnerable, you can probably never achieve your goal and never become like the hero that you want to be, or never really have the confidence to like become something more than just everyone else. And so you have to be like, so okay, the main point of this is, you know, you need to be secure. I mean, I know it's hard because, you know, if you're insecure, like, it's not just that easy to just become secure, but you need to be willing to try new things and make yourself vulnerable. And I feel like with those experiences that you would have, that would really bring out a new confidence, and then later on, like a self-security that you couldn't get from any other experience. And that is all.